Quest for the Lost Pixel was my #1 game of 2020. It was the game I played the most. It was the game that I kept playing in 2021, and it's the game that, now that I have the expansions for, I want to take out again, even though I've got so many things going for the channel that I can't do that right now. But I do want to go through the expansion material that the designer sent me. This is the Hack Slash and Loot expansion, as well as the Sunken Treasure expansion. I'm not going, it's tempting for me to go back through what this game is because I just love it so much, but I've already done like an hour-long video on it, and I also talked about it again in my Best of 2020 video, so I'm going to refrain from spending too much time on the game and really focus on showing you some of the cards and discussing some of the rules changes and amendments that come with the expansion. I will put links to my original video on the game as well as my Best of 2020 discussion, so you can check out what I had to say about it kind of in summary at the end of 2020. In terms of what we have here, we'll take a look first at the Sunken Treasure expansion, and what this does here is it adds a bonus little kind of press your luck game that you can play when you get to the water tiles in the dungeon tiles. So basically what this adds is if you end on a water space, you get to go fishing. And to go fishing, you draw, there's a bag that you get, and you take these tokens, you put them in the bag, you draw one out, and then you match the picture you get to the back of a card. You could get a small fish, a medium fish, or a large fish, or a trophy fish, and then you get the benefit that is on that card. And who is the benefit for? Well, the benefit is for your pet. So you have to be having a pet to gain the benefit, and we get some new pets, as well as there was the pet expansion. So if you have a pet, for example, you have Luna the butterfly, she's going to offer you a +1 intelligence boost, of course, and her ability is to gain 2 XP, and then when you do that, you will have to leave Luna behind. However, you can go fishing, and you can give her an additional boost feeding her the food, so you can use your fish that you caught to feed your pet and gain that benefit, and then after you do that, you need to discard your pet as well as the food. So anytime during your explore phase, you can feed your pet a fish, and then you get that benefit, and then it is gone when you leave that floor. So that's the fishing, and as long as we're looking at, we can see some of the new pets here. Here's Simon, he's an animal, he's a bird, and he gives a +1 strength. And his ability is to automatically complete a side quest, and then he flies and does your side quest, and then he flies away. And we have Bongo, who is a monkey with +1 speed. You can choose not to flip a time card that turn, and then if you do, that is his benefit. And we have Prickles, the hedgehog. He gives a +1 defense, of course, and this allows you to choose to craft, and if you do, you can discard this card. Crafting is a new rule that we'll get to. Fancy is a cat animal with +1 dexterity, of course, and we get 2 speed for 1 turn only, and then Fancy runs away. So those are a look at some of the new pets. So crafting is a new term, and you need to land on a craft icon, which is this, comes with is on the new cards, or on some of the new cards, as is the shop. There's another craft icon. And what that means is if you're on the craft icon, you can discard any 2 treasure cards that you have to get a new treasure card. So even if you're not of the level of that, if you're not yourself the level of that dungeon that you're on, you can still use and equip the treasure card, but you can only craft if you are prompted to do so on one of these crafting things. So there aren't too many of them. If you think about if you know the game and know how many tiles there are, that's going to be a pretty rare thing. This game is very flexible when it comes to house rules, I'll tell you that. And I've talked about some of the house rules that I use when I play, and in fact, I can see in the rules here, there's some new game changes that the designer has put, and I think one of them about artifacts is related to something that I do. Some of them are going to shorten the game, so you draw fewer dungeon tiles, and there's a new dungeon tile time card. So you can see in the original rules, for one player you drew 10 dungeon tiles and 10 time cards, and here he has shortened this to only 8 dungeon tiles because the game can run long, and so that's going to be helpful in that. Ditto, leveling up. It says due to the shortened floors, heroes now level up after gaining 5 XP, and I believe it was 8 in the original game. Artifacts are no longer rewarded when an elite monster is defeated. There was an issue I felt in becoming overpowered with too many artifacts, and it says each hero may only equip 1 artifact at a time. During your turn, you may swap it out with another artifact from your inventory. My house rule is simply artifacts are one-time use, because to me that makes thematic sense. They're so powerful, you use them and they're gone. But this is yet another way of kind of minimizing the potential for overpowering your character. There's a co-op trading rule here. You can trade items with another player as long as they are on the same dungeon tile as your hero. That's also something that when I played this with one of my kids, we ended up doing. Co-op combat. During your hero's encounter phase, any player may assist in the combat as long as they are on the same dungeon tile. The assisting hero must only roll their base attack. Now, we do get some new heroes in as well. We're looking now, I think we've moved now into the hack slash and loot. We're getting 3 new heroes there. We're going to get a beast tamer, for example. Now, I'm guessing the base attack means just the strength, as opposed to, because you're not equipping anything. So if the beast tamer contributed in a co-op way to an attack, it would roll a d6. If the brawler, like her, the female brawler, she would be rolling a d8 as a benefit. Everybody has an ability, so for example, the brawler cannot equip any weapons. Ooh. When this hero attacks, she gains plus 1 d8 attack toward a monster. So I guess that would mean she's rolling 2 d8s, but she can never equip a weapon. I guess she could use spells. I don't know if there's attack items per se she could use. Anyway, she has 22 health. And we also get the advanced version of that. So for when she hits level 4, she can either become a martial artist, and if she is as a martial artist, if she receives damage tokens from a monster's attack, that monster receives 3 damage tokens. Now that's pretty thematic. Or she could become a monk. During the encounter phase, she may choose to not move at all and remove 3 damage tokens from her hero. Again, thematic. I like it. So those are some of and then we got a rogue, which is a male goblin savage. His ability is to gain a +1 chance to lockpicking in a cheat chest. We'll look at that next. Also, all rogue-based attacks are considered poison attacks. Oh, interesting. 16 health. So, what is a cheat chest? These are the cheat chests, and you can see that they are different than the treasure chests. They're a different color, and they appear on the new tiles that that's a cheat chest there, as opposed to, just as a reminder, they're all here. I think one of these, here's a regular. So cheat, regular. The cheat chest it's locked, and you can see that there are 3 numbers here. These are representing d6s in these colors. You have 5 opportunities to roll d6s and match the number and the color die to open the chest. If you do a roll and you get nothing, as I got nothing here, that's it. You don't count anything. That was 1 roll. Roll again. I got nothing again. That's 2 rolls. Not going to be able to open this one for you. 3 rolls, I actually got nothing. My 4th roll, not doing so well, and obviously, oh, well, I got a 3. So if you get, at least I can show you that, if you get the same, if you match the number and the color, you can put that aside, and then you do a roll. I think this is my 5th roll, and I missed it. However, if I successfully opened it, now as the rogue, I guess I would have one more roll. Couldn't open it. However, just letting you know, if we did open it, it would show. There's a cheat code, Final Magic, and we use it during the encounter phase. We can only use it once per dungeon. What does it do? We can discard a spell card to defeat any one monster, and then we get a new spell card. So each of these cards, and I don't want to sort of go through and ruin them for myself or you, but there's quite a big stack of them. Each of them will impact some of the game rules in some way to let you cheat, basically. And I'm guessing they're all one-time use cards. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. And it comes, you get the 3 dice with it. As you can see, it's really just luck. I've done it a couple of times just to see. I think I've tried to do it 3 or 4 times and succeeded once. I'm sure that somebody knows the percentage chance of that actually happening. I don't, but you can put it in the comments if you do. In any case, it hasn't really worked for me just on the side, but maybe when I play the game, I will have better luck. So those are the cheat cards. We also have a shop. We saw this on these tiles. This is something that I had already house ruled in my own game. I can't remember how I decided that there would be a shop, but there is a shop here, and you have, if you are on that shop, you can purchase items while on the space, and what you get to do is take the top 3 items in the treasure deck and place them out and have them available for purchase. You can use a treasure card, or any card in your hand really, as worth 1 gold in order to make the purchase. And then the price of the item is up in the corner here. So this is actually not from the expansion, but if you wanted to purchase this Staff of Blinding, you could discard 2 cards to get it. The hack, slash, and loot comes with some new monsters, and you just add these into the monsters that you have. They are monster boosts, and many of them have this new tag, Wandering Monster, on them. What that does is, in effect, it summons another monster who is a wandering monster, and you get, with the hack, slash, and loot, also a whole new stack of wandering monsters. So this is just a stack that you put out that's going to stay with you throughout your dungeon levels, and if you pull in a monster with that enhancer, then you're going to also pull in one of these wandering monsters, and we'll have a look at one here, the Chromatic Eye. And if you know the game, we don't need to go through all these stats, but so these are new monsters that are keyed to be wandering monsters and can be pulled in throughout. And so you're meant to add in these monsters to the various levels here that you have. I don't know if there's one for every level, but you get a whole bunch of new monsters that are going to possibly pull that in. You also get some new treasures that you can just add in to your existing game. And we'll take a look at one of them. Ooh, Sky Tear. It's a legendary sword. And you can see 1d12 plus 4. That's pretty cool. I can't remember what type of, is that going to be an air attack? Let's see. So for those of you that don't know the game, that, yes, that is an air attack. These represent different types of attacks, and there is a code. This is the regular rule book, so you can see that it does an air attack there. That's a 1d12 plus 4. That's pretty awesome. And it's a level 5 weapon, meaning you cannot wield this unless you yourself are level 5. And it is a treasure that will appear on the 5th floor. You may or may not be the level of the floor you're on. Hopefully you're close, or else you're not going to last very long. So those are some more treasures. We've covered the wandering monsters. We got a couple new spells. We have an arcane magic spell, and this is used during the encounter phase. You get your intelligence plus 1d8 toward a monster. And then if the monster survives this attack, you gain +3 defense to all elemental attacks from this monster's attack. Cool. And, ooh, there's a crafting spell. We can use this. Well, that's good. You need that really, because there's not a lot of, that's pretty key if you want to do that crafting thing. We have some new events. I'm not going to take a look at these because I don't want to ruin it for myself, but we have some new events that we can mix into our old events. These are when you land on the question mark space as you travel through, you pull in an event card. Some new artifacts, lots of new artifacts actually, and ooh, is that an artifact? Oh no, that's for the catacombs. Okay. All right, we got some new catacombs cards too. Let's look there. A flesh room. Ugh. We roll a 1d6 and we're either losing some energy, getting damage, or gaining a treasure. So that's in the catacombs, which is an expansion in and of itself that is not part of the base game. We do get some new artifacts, and we'll take a look here at one example. We have a divine shield here. It gives a +5 defense, and it is keyed as an accessory, and oh, it also has dark defense of 5, so I'm guessing against a dark attack, yeah, it would be a +10, so that's pretty powerful, you can see, but also pretty specific. Frankly, that might be an artifact I would get rid of myself. All right, we covered this. Now, we also have replacement cards for the gems that are meant to be more colorblind friendly. So I'll just show you. This is the new stack of cards. You're simply meant to place the new cards in and toss the old ones, and I'll show you the difference here. So this is the new topaz versus the old. The only difference is the imagery there that is making this higher contrast and easier to read. The ability and everything is the same. So I'll just show you a couple of examples here so you can see what this is, the new card and the old one. And new and old, that is indeed difficult to read just in general. New, old. And the last example is the ruby, new and old. So replace these with the old ones. And, excuse me, replace these instead of the old ones. The last element that we have here is the sunken treasure, and I realize that the sunken treasures are back to the sunken treasure expansion, obviously, and I didn't indicate that when you go fishing, one of the things you could possibly get, as you can see right here, is a sunken treasure. So these are specific treasures that are within the water. Here are some barracuda boots. Are going to give you +2 speed, and you're immune to the effects of all water spaces. Well, that's pretty cool because water spaces is going to count as traveling through water is going to count twice instead of once, and that could be helpful because, as we know, if you're playing this game, you gotta keep moving because you can be bad things can happen if you run out of time. Here's some golden seaweed. This item is worth 2 gold when you sell it at a shop. Well, that's pretty good. Actually, look at one more here. And a water bag. It lets you remove damage tokens equal to the amount of XP tokens your hero currently has. That's really good. So these treasures look to be very good, and it is definitely worth going fishing if you encounter that as you go. So that's a look inside the 2 expansions here for Quest for the Lost Pixel. With or without these expansions, this is just a terrific game. It is easy to get into. It's a build. You really do feel like you have a character who doesn't have much, and at the early level or 2, you're just sort of rolling a lot of d6s and not a ton feels like it's going on, and then pretty quickly it ramps up and you find that you're just collecting things. You have a lot of different options of different dice to roll and different kinds of attacks to attempt or defend against, and it's really great. And here are the little characters that you get that go with the new heroes that you get. I failed to show those before. So that's a look inside the expansions for Quest for the Lost Pixel. As mentioned, this is just one of my favorite games since it's come into my gaming world, and thanks as always for watching.